Hi, my name's Joanne Williams. I'm the head teacher of Hassenbrook Academy. I've been here for the last 4 years and we've been really focused as a staff and with our student body on making sure that we improve and develop the school. We've seen our results improve, we've seen student attendance improve, we've seen a real development in positive attitudes to learning to make this a really good school and a school that I know that you would want to send your children to.
As an academy, we are very proud of our outcomes over the past 4 years. I've been at the academy for 20 years and have seen the highs and lows in terms of outcomes, pupil numbers and progress across the school. In the past 4 years, we've moved from half a grade below national average in terms of our outcomes for GCSEs to exceeding national average. And that is due to the hard work of the staff and the pupils on a day in and day out basis. English and maths have been our strong subjects. They've led the way and now we've extended that success to all subjects. We are very pleased with what we've done and we'd like to say it's down to the hard work but also the intervention that we offer to students on a daily basis. Intervention includes after schools, weekends and holidays. In the past, it used to be difficult to get pupils to attend intervention. But the success of that intervention has meant now that it's actually tougher fitting in all the sessions into one fortnightly timetable. That has now become a problem. We're almost victims of our own success.
We've been able to really develop as a school over the last few years because we've got a can-do attitude, a real team spirit. We're a small school, dynamic, but we pack a powerful punch. We also focus on the individual, so a personalised learning approach, ensuring we've got student enrichment, so clubs after school, access to the excellent school facilities that we've got. For Year 7s, we have a very planned and structured induction programme. We've had to alter it slightly this year because of COVID, but what we would normally do was actually prior to the children coming to the school in September, we have a friendship afternoon so that children can meet each other prior to the school holidays so that we get rid of some of that anxiety around what will it be like with other pupils. That went fantastically well this year. We were able to do that just prior to lockdown. We also then had a parents' evening, so we've invited parents in, Year 6 parents, again prior to September, just to give them an outline of how the school works, how it runs, what's our expectation of them and how we work together, how we build that relationship. That relationship for us is really important, particularly in the first few months, because we want to make sure that children make the best start they possibly can to school. And so the more information we have about the children as individuals, then the more support we can give them to make sure that they learn and achieve their potential. When they actually join us, we give all students in Year 7 a peer mentor to work with who've had quite an in-depth training programme themselves about how to support younger students, how to make sure that they can find their way around the school, to pick up any sort of niggling issues in terms of friendship groups, in terms of how they fit in with their peers and how they're accessing learning as well. So that peer mentor programme has been running for quite a few years now and we found it to be really successful. We also then in October meet with parents formally so that they can meet tutors and subject teachers and actually talk about how the first 6 weeks of school have been. And we call that a settling in evening, just to sort of check in with parents and give them any feedback about things that they can do to support as well.
As a small academy, we have a very narrow curriculum, but we make sure that we focus on the principles of quality over quantity. We want to ensure that the subjects we offer to the students are the best available for them and we have the right practitioners to ensure they get the best possible outcomes. The options process in Year 9 is run for all students in Year 9 to ensure they have the best possible access to the knowledge they require. We base it on student strengths, we base it on the career that they want to follow, and we ensure that the parents get enough information to also advise them on the best possible choices. That way we get the best possible outcomes in Year 11 and students are ready for the next journey in their life in terms of education, training or a career. We've spent a lot of time focusing on literacy and numeracy. We think it's really important that students have all the prerequisites and skills they need to access the whole curriculum. Without those literacy and numeracy skills, pupils will have barriers, and we want to ensure that students from Year 7 right through to Year 11 have the chance to access the curriculum and have no difficulties in the way. So we spend a lot of time focusing on ensuring pupils have all the necessary skills they require to access the whole curriculum. We also ensure that we have high standards in our classrooms, so we do quality control what goes on. We ensure that we are constantly revising and looking at what we do in our practice and making sure that we revise it and improve it where necessary. And to ensure that our standards of teaching are good, if not better than good, outstanding in every classroom across the Academy. We spent a lot of time developing staff teaching and learning methods. We've taken on what we call the Rosenshine principles. These principles are very simplistic in their application, but you'd say they were common sense teaching. But actually, when you apply them to a lesson, teaching becomes good and effective, and we ensure we have the good outcomes that we need. Marking and feedback is now a priority for the school. So it's no longer a case of ticking and flicking and ensuring that pupils just receive ticks and crosses. It's about a dialogue between students and teachers. We ensure that teachers give the feedback to the students, and the students then act upon that and respond to say, yes, I understand what that is now, I can correct that, or I still have an issue and there's a barrier there. But between red pen corrections from the teacher and green pen corrections for the students, we ensure that any issues that arise in terms of learning are corrected there and then.
Nationally, it's been a time of emergency, and it's had a huge impact on education, of course. Not being able to see students over the last 6 months was really frustrating for staff, and it really took the joy out of the work that we do. You know, posting work online and making phone calls is not what we came into education for. We want to see students, we want to interact with them, work with them dynamically in order to help them achieve, and that's been very hard to do that through home learning and through a blended learning approach. But what we've done from September was really to welcome students back, to reassure our families that we have taken all the right precautions in terms of health and safety. We're using a bubble model, so we're divided into 2 bubbles in the school. Because we're a small school, we're able to do that. A focus obviously on cleaning, on hand sanitising, and ensuring that our bubbles remain separate at all times as well. It's also meant that staff are more peripatetic because children are staying in one place to learn, but we have been able to have access to specialist subjects and specialist classrooms. Because we're a small school, we've been able to do that. It's meant that children now feel safe and secure. We've got almost 95% attendance this week, which is something we're really proud of. So children are really back and learning and happy to be here. Staff obviously have felt the challenge of that and a new way of working and a new way of being. So we make sure that we're looking after them, that we're supporting their well-being as well.
As a school, during these difficult times of Corona, we've ensured that students have still had access to learning. Although they're not actually on site and face-to-face, we've ensured that the diet of learning they've had from staff by remote has been as good as it could possibly be. Students have found this very rewarding, and actually we've managed to bridge the gap in the learning from March right through to September. One of our focuses has been linking learning to the wider world. We want students to see the bigger picture, not only what they're doing on the day, we want them to understand what the bigger picture is in terms of where are we going for the year, what are the links with other subjects, why am I learning this? And to answer that age-old question, what's the point of this particular piece of learning? We need students to see why we're doing it so that they can buy in and be part of the journey with us. Finally, we've spent a lot of time working on out-of-hours learning. We have access to a lot of electronic and remote learning now, including programs such as GCSE Pod, the Pixel apps and the Google Suite. This means that students get as much learning as they can inside the classroom, but we also ensure they get as much learning as possible outside the classroom. And this has become a very fundamental supportive part of what we do on a day-to-day basis.
So the exam results day was a real triumph for us. It was very different because normally obviously we'd have all the children here at once and have a huge celebration. I think the children felt a bit uncertain because they hadn't actually sat the exams. The students felt weren't able to come together because we had to stagger the handing out of results. But for us, after 4 years of hard work and particular focus on that group of students and staff really going the extra mile in terms of our intervention programme, we were absolutely delighted with our exam results. They were the best that we've ever had. And yeah, as a school, I think we fundamentally now believe that we're a good school.